had one of those episodes where we keep forgetting our keys, or we can't think of somebody's name, a word doesn't come to us, and it's scary. So how do you know the difference between what's normal and what is a sign of cognitive decline? First of all, I want to tell you a bold truth that most people don't realize, and that's that our brain should not deteriorate with age. Forgetfulness, confusion, cognitive slowing are not normal. In fact, the brain is actually one of the most regenerative organs in the body. It's capable of rewiring, repairing, even growing throughout your whole life. When we do these things like forget names, misplace keys, walk in a room and ask, why was I here? How do we tell the difference between simple forgetfulness and this is an early sign of dementia that we should be worried about? Most importantly, how do we actually protect and even enhance the brain function so that we don't just decline, but we actually get sharper, faster, more adaptable with age? Let's talk about the myth of normal brain aging. We've been sold a really dangerous myth that brain atrophy is normal, that we're destined to lose neurons and mental sharpness as the decades pass, and it's just not true. Brain atrophy, the literal shrinking of the brain, is not inevitable. It should not happen. It's a sign of chronic inflammation, mitochondrial damage, deficiencies, a lot of things set in place that create that problem, not just getting older. So if we feed the brain what it needs, oxygen, nutrients, stimulation, sleep, it continues to grow. If we don't stress it with toxins, nutrient deficiencies, sedentary habits, it starts pruning away connections faster than it builds them. So brain decline isn't just aging, it's accelerated wear and tear. So when is forgetfulness normal and when isn't it? Normal forgetfulness is random and inconsequential. You forget a word, you blank on someone's name, but it comes back later. These are moments related to stress, distraction, multitasking, sometimes poor sleep, but probably not loss of brain cells. But there's red flags, things we shouldn't ignore. Be concerned when you repeat the same questions or stories and you forgot you already told them. Like you tell a story and somebody goes, oh, you already told me that. Or you get lost in a familiar place. Or you forget really common words. Or you substitute strange ones in. Sometimes people will start noticing personality changes. Or apathy. You just don't feel like doing the things you wanted to do before. Or you start struggling with planning, organization, multitasking. Skills that maybe used to be second nature to you. Most telling of all, somebody else notices it before you do. Self-awareness is often the first thing the brain loses when real pathology sets in. So why can stress mimic dementia? Let's talk about one of the biggest imposters of cognitive decline. That's stress. Chronic stress floods the brain with cortisol, and this shuts down the hippocampus, the same region that's responsible for short-term memory and learning. So your recall worsens, your focus fades, and you might think you're developing dementia. And what's actually happening is just biochemical. The good news is when the stress is relieved, those circuits bounce back. So sometimes the problem isn't memory loss, it's memory suppression for survival mode neurochemistry. So that's why I always tell patients, if you're forgetting things during a stressful period, don't assume your brain is broken. Assume your nervous system is overworked and it needs recovery. So what's our functional medicine approach to brain evaluation? Let's shift from fear to empowerment. In functional medicine, in cellular medicine, we don't just evaluate for brain disease, we evaluate brain health. So here's some key metrics and tests that I use. Number one is look at inflammatory markers. You need a highly sensitive C-reactive protein, homocysteine, galectin-3, lipoprotein little a, cytokine profiles, p-tau, because chronic inflammation silently damages the nerve tissue. You need to look at metabolic health, fasting insulin, hemoglobin A1C, triglyceride to HDL ratio, because insulin resistance is one of the first things that's going to create brain atrophy. Mitochondrial markers, using things like a prodrome scan, organic acid tests, and then look at lipidomics, plasmalogens, phosphatidylcholine from labs like Prodrome, because low plasmalogens are an early sign of neurodegeneration. Look at nutrient panels, especially B12, folate, zinc, magnesium, choline, omega-3s, vitamin D, because each of these directly supports neurotransmitter balance and myelination of your brain. And then you can do neurocognitive testing. We use a WAVI scan, there's CNS vitals, there's quantitative EEGs. Those will show changes long before an MRI scan does. And brain imaging, not just structural, but functional scans, are going to be much better for looking at brain function. By the time there's atrophy, that's been going on a long time. So what should you do if you're concerned, if your brain feels off? The first thing is don't panic and don't ignore it. Start a process of explanation and support. Here's what I want you to do. First, look at all your lifestyle points. Are you sleeping 7 to 8 hours? Are you moving every day? Are you eating nutrient-dense whole foods, hydrated enough? Are you spending time in natural light? Those sound basic, but they're really foundational to neuroplasticity. Cut the brain saboteurs, ultra-processed foods, alcohol, oxidative stress, environmental toxins, all those things accelerate neuronal aging. And then you've got to rebuild the metabolic foundation using ketones, intermittent fasting, mitochondrial nutrients like CoQ10, PQQ, acetyl-L-carnitine, all really important. And then you can use things that support new brain function. Peptides like cerebrolysin, dihexa, C-Lank, C-Max. Regular exercise does the same thing because it improves brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Diet can do the same thing. You absolutely have to balance your hormones. Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, all critical. A decline in estrogen, a decline in progesterone is going to lead to brain atrophy. And you have to train your brain, just like we train our muscles. You should be working on new skills all the time. Languages, learn how to do a new sport, learn how to play guitar, something you haven't tried before. And then you have to cultivate calm, meditation, breath work, looking at breath holding, heart rate variability training. Those are all really important to restore hippocampal volume. What about supplements for brain? Some of the best supportive compounds are the omega-3s. Phosphatidylcholine and plasmalogens also critical. If we're not eating meat or eggs, we don't get animal-based choline, which is critical for the brain. Magnesium threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier and enhances synaptic density. Urolithin A, spermidine, those clean out damaged mitochondria. Creatine, it's direct energy substrate for neurons under stress. Absolutely critical. And for those of you in the biohacker crowd, things that increase NAD like 1-methylnicotinamide, red light therapy, mild hyperbaric oxygen therapy, those can dramatically improve energy perfusion. So what I want everybody to understand, cognitive decline is not a one-way street. The brain is dynamic, it's responsive, and it's regenerative. In Dr. Goodenou's work, we've been looking at brain imaging, and we've been seeing brains grow even very late in life with the proper nutrients, with the proper care. Even if your genetics are bad, even if you have the ApoE4 gene, which means you have a much more likelihood of developing dementia, we know how to prevent it. So while forgetfulness is maybe just your brain whispering for a little help, working on stress management, working on sleep, taking your nutrients, that chronic decline, confusion, people telling you you're repeating things, take note of that. What I really want to get away from is what we call normal brain aging. And I see this all the time. I order an MRI scan on a brain on a patient, and it says normal atrophy for age. That means the brain shrinking is considered normal. It is not normal. It is a disease state. It is completely and utterly preventable and reversible with the right tools. And we have those tools. But you have to be proactive. You have to be thinking ahead. Is it ever too late? I think at some point it's very hard to reverse damage done. But really, for a long period of time, we have things we can do to improve things. Even in later stages of cognitive decline, we can use things like cerebrolysin infusions. And what I hate is when people come to me way down the road, we sort of had this great window of opportunity, and it was lost. If you had an MRI scan that says normal atrophy for age, you need to be evaluated. You need to work with a functional medicine, a cellular medicine clinic who knows what to do, how to evaluate things. You need to get these basic labs that are looking at neuroinflammatory markers, looking at metabolic markers, looking at the things that tell us the brain is going to be in trouble if we don't fix them. You absolutely have to replace hormones. All that done, if we still have problems, we can pull in the bigger tools. Don't get afraid by simple forgetfulness. It's likely nothing. But if it's repetitive, chronic, especially when things start becoming a little bit more out of sorts, then you need to get evaluated. Please give us a thumbs up. If you like it, please share it with somebody you know who's dealing with things, because it's so important of a message to try and reinforce that we don't get dumber as we age. We should actually keep getting smarter, keep learning more. If you're retiring and you're not getting the brain stimulus, find something that gives your brain a reason to learn. You have to keep learning. You have to keep trying new things. So that said, I really appreciate you guys, and I really want to share these messages. Thanks.